Hey there, everybody. It's DJ. Alright, so today we have a class. Oh, by the way, go Jazz. Still number 1 in the league. Pretty sweet. I feel bad for the Warriors fans, but the Warriors have a chance of actually moving forward. And I do like the Warriors. Just not as much as the Jazz, and the Jazz are much better this year, so it's kind of nice. But today I have a class on, and it won't be a very long one, but it's just to kind of discuss what the vaccination clinic was like that we had on the 2nd, and the possibility of it happening again in the future. And so I think that it's good to discuss, what it was like, so that maybe, in the future, if people want to participate, they'll know exactly what to expect. So it was just kind of get started as the day went. I got there about 8:45 in the morning. Came down, staff checked in. We put on like kind of construction workers' clothes just to identify ourselves as staff. And once identified as staff, we had like a name badge and everything like that. And the morning was definitely the busiest time. And so we went in, we hand sanitized, then they took our temperature, just to see, because if any of us had a fever or anything like that, then, we couldn't participate. And I had just the week before gotten my nose swab thingy from Kaiser, and, it came back negative. And so, I was good to go. My temperature was really low, though, which was weird. I think I was like 87 degrees, which is not really hypothermia, but I think it was just cold that day. I don't know. It's morning time. And the weather had dropped from, previously. We'd had some really warm weather, and then suddenly that day it had dropped to very low weather. But we got there, and, Marie and I, we did the check-in for everyone showing up that morning. Now, the morning time was very busy. There was a line pretty far back, and our first appointments actually weren't till 9:40, but people were showing up at 9 o'clock and ready to go. And some of them, they had their appointments in the afternoon, and so, it kind of made things a little more difficult. I do know when I went to Kaiser to get my shot, I always show up early to everything, just because, and they just kind of wave you through, like, yeah, go ahead, we cross your name off the list, you're good to go. And so we kind of did it that way. I think it will change in the future, just because there were a few people that had shown up at the right time and still had to wait in a line for people that had appointments for later on. And so, and this is something that I impart to all of you. When you have an appointment, please show up at around, maybe 10 minutes before the time that you get there. Don't show up hours early just to get a jump on it. That's what appointment times are for, because other people have taken the time to set up their appointments earlier, and so it's best that everybody kind of sticks to their appointment time. But if you can get in earlier, that's why you show up early, and they might wave you through and say, hey, you know what, right now the line is short. But in the morning time, I'll tell you, the line was incredibly long. It was really long. And so, we had chairs going all the way down. The staff that were there was, they were doing their best to make sure that everybody was comfortable. And this is what I think was impressive about the whole thing, is that amongst all the staff that were there, we try to make it as comfortable as possible for everyone involved. So take people, maybe not wanting to sit outside at 9 in the morning when the weather has dropped and it was kind of cold. And so we gave people the opportunity to be like, well, if you would like, you can wait in your car. And then, once the line kind of drops down again, go ahead and pop out, join the line, and that way people can be comfortable. One more. And, that's what I think it made people feel a lot more comfortable to know that they could sit in their car. And then would have somebody, basically waiting there, and they would look at the line, and then they'd say, hey, if you would like to go now, it might be a good time for you to go. And people could sit in the car with their music, with the heater on and things like that, and then jump out. So, and again, one of the reasons that I'm really suggesting this is they're looking at least the government is kind of looking at that because of all the variants that we have right now, that it might be a yearly thing to get a shot for a while. So, kind of like influenza, or you get booster shots for measles, mumps, rubella, or like the flu shot, say that you get your flu shot every year, because every year things mutate biologically, they change, and the coronavirus is sort of one of those things that we're not sure about. So it may be something that because a lot of times we've had flu shots done at program, and this might be something that can happen every year. So I do want to kind of let you know what the process would be and how it would be, and we try to serve as many people as possible. We got a lot of people vaccinated that Friday. A lot of people I'd never met, and and I have to say that the staff, the medical staff that was there, were very caring. They were very good at their job. They were ready to go, and they would accommodate people, because we did have some individuals that had a hard time keeping a mask on. Like, they would just keep taking their mask off. And we really couldn't have them going into a space inside, having not been vaccinated yet. And so they accommodated people, and some people were really afraid of needles, and they wanted to be in a space that they understood and were comfortable with. There was one person that had a dog with them in the car, and they felt safe in the car. And the medical staff was actually kind enough to be, they had face shields and everything like that, and they would go over to the car and vaccinate somebody in the car. And then family could be there. They could be in a space like a car that that the family has, and so that they could feel comfortable getting a shot there. And it was really wonderful that way. And it happened in a couple of occasions where people, they want to feel comfortable. Some people have, I can't remember the name of it right now, but there is a fear of needles. And I know that I have a cousin, and he has a tremendous fear of needles. Like, it's a phobia that goes beyond, it's what phobia really means, because he has a very visceral reaction, a reaction where he'll fight and he'll scream if needles are brought near him at all. And he's had this his whole life. Like, I always considered myself an arachnophobe, and that, like, when I was a kid, I remember going to the library, and they would have us, like, sometimes pick out, like, certain letters in encyclopedias, and just to kind of check out and read on something, and then they'd have you do like an oral report or a written report on what you read. And there was one year that I picked out the letter S, and spiders were in there, and they were scary spiders, and I couldn't touch the picture of the spider. Like, it, like, I was like, not that it's gonna bite me, but I can't even touch it. It was really hard to look at. And I thought that I had severe arachnophobia. I was like, man, like, they really scare me, And Melanie's helped me get past that, because she's a botanist, and she loves bugs. Like she saves spiders all the time, and I've gotten to the point now where I can save a spider and be like, all right, here you go back outside. Just please don't be in my house. But then I found out, a friend of mine, she actually went to therapy for being afraid of spiders. She called them fiends. She couldn't even say the word spider. She said, oh, the fiends. And, and I found out one day because a friend of mine played a joke on her and threw, it was just like a ball of, nothing, like lint, kind of, that they found in a car. But it was like, it kind of looked like a spider, or it looked, and he's like, oh no, and he threw the lint on her and said, oh, there's a spider on your shoulder. She freaked out and was screaming and yelling. We had to, and it was while we were driving a car, and they had to pull the car over. And I was like, okay, so that's severe. And that's the same thing with my cousin. When it comes to needles, like they would have to sedate him somehow, like give him a pill to make him go to sleep in order to give him a shot. Otherwise, he wouldn't, So for those of you that showed up and aren't afraid of shots and things like that, I do have to say that the medical staff that was available made people feel incredibly comfortable. And I was really happy to be a part of it because, for anybody to take that level of care for people that might be very afraid is impressive to me. And and this is why I want to impress upon you that, if we do need booster shots and things like that, I'm not positive that George Miller will be doing it again in Richmond, but if we do every year, it seems as though it's something that our staff and, certain people in the agency would be willing to do. There were a lot of people there that from all over the place that were there to just check it out and be part of it. And it was really wonderful. Now, one thing I do have to tell you is, for those of you that did get the Johnson & Johnson shot, I didn't know this, but, so, Amy was there and Carol, her boss, was there. And I didn't know, and so, because for Kaiser, when I got Pfizer, they said, okay, so you get your first shot, you wait 2 weeks, and then you get your second shot, and then after 2 weeks of that, then it'll have gone through your system completely, and you should be good. And so I was sitting there, and somebody got their shot. I was like, good job, that's awesome. I'm very proud of you. Saw a lot of people that I hadn't seen in a while, and got to, say that. And I was like, all right, so just got to wait 2 weeks and let it, it'll go through your system. And then, you'll be good for a while, And then Carol, she was like, it's 4 weeks actually for the Johnson & Johnson shot. So for those of you that got it, it'll take about 4 weeks for it really to take hold in your entire system to fight off anything like that. And, we're still gonna, so 4 weeks, not 2 weeks. It'll take 4 weeks, which is technically kind of the same. I think, when it comes to Pfizer, you have your first shot, you get your second shot 2 weeks in, and then another 2 weeks. So the first shot is the main shot. The second shot is kind of a booster shot. So just so you know, it's 4 weeks total for that. But like I said, it's something that I look forward to. Hopefully everybody can get vaccinated and we can get back to program very soon. It was really nice to see everybody, to be in public with some of our, our good friends and people that we know, and to see people happy and proud that they got the shot. And, and they don't have to worry about it for a while. But again, it's very important that, we do our due diligence and and be responsible. I still think we're going to have to get nose swabs before we come back, in order to find out whether or not, there's any sense of it in your system. We're definitely going to have to wear masks. That's another, sorry, I forgot to say that. but I definitely had to have a mask on the entire time. Everybody did. I double masked just because, I want to make sure, doubly that everybody's safe. But anyway, I miss y'all, and I do implore you to get the shot, and also to know that if we do it again, it's a great place to do it, because it's a comfortable place and it's a place we all know. But I should go now. I miss y'all. I'll talk to you later. Ciao for now.